You're listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is a place we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, take three. You doing all right back over there, Taylor?
I'm good. We got two new computers. So it's
Two new computers. Okay.
We're good.
Rock and roll so it can make me sound even better than what I do now. Well, we have our old friend Michel Umphrey. Well, not that she's old, but saying. Anyway.
I'm older than I was last time.
Yeah, I know. But our good and dear friend Michel Umphrey is going to talk about how it works, and she brought a friend with her, Lisa Flynn. What's the name of the business again?
C3 Cryo Club.
And what does it do?
Oh my gosh, we do so much at C3 Cryo Club.
Probably have to talk a little louder.
We do a lot at C3 Cryo Club. Basically, we started with a whole body cryotherapy. Have you ever heard of whole body cryotherapy?
Well, I'm going to learn it because...
You're going to learn, yeah, because it's good for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
So,
cryo means cold.
right.
Okay, so it's cold therapy. You stand in a chamber that cold air circulates around your body. It's going to help with inflammation, decrease pain, increases your immunity.
It sounds like y'all are in the same business, but at the other ends of it, it's more or less.
We are polar opposite cousins.
Okay, well,
Yes,
so that's going to be an interesting show because I don't know anything about this.
But both in
therapy.
wellness. So,
Yes.
you
Wow.
know,
I like to say we're the hottest place in Burleson, and she's the coolest place in
The
Burleson.
coolest place.
right.
Okay.
coldest place on earth.
And we're going to talk about all the type of therapy, and I guess y'all could talk to each other about comparing y'all's things, and I'll just sit there and go, okay, because I don't, I don't know much about your particular brand. I've learned a lot from Michelle about hers, but before infrared therapy was part of the scene, I didn't know much about it at all. So she's educated me on the whole thing, and it's all good. But before we jump into all of that, we should talk about the sponsors and make all this possible. Our friend Daniel, CrossFit Burleson. It's really cold out there, if you haven't noticed. And it's a good place to go work out indoors if you want to do the heavy-duty lifting. You know, go a place to get fit. Don't throw a fit, but, it's CrossFit over at 317 behind the Stone Soup Cafe and that strip mall there. Valet Cleaners is behind it and all this. And it's a really good workout. I would not doubt for a minute many of their clients at CrossFit come to both of y'all.
Yes,
For relief of various,
For sure.
absolutely.
for us, muscle aches, joint aches, whatever else. So
Muscle
there's a little. So CrossFit is a little bit of, maybe supplying some of y'all's clients. I hope.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, Daniel, for what you're doing. They got Shandy Stogsdill, the Stogsdill Group. Real estate's still booming around this area. If you want to move in this area, you need to talk to her. She's really knows her stuff. She comes on about once a quarter. She also is running for place 4 in the school board. I don't know if you remember. You probably knew that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Yes, and so she'll be on in a couple of weeks to talk about that because she's learning a lot about what's going on, and she's going to be talking about other things. We had her on about 2 weeks ago, and we just didn't have enough time to cover all the questions that were coming. So I said, let's do it again. Let's have part 2. Anyway, Shandy, hope you're doing well. Thank you to her. You. Also, Otto, he's in Chicago right now. I guess he want to get out of the cold weather. Well, he's posting a lot of pictures. He's from Chicago, of course, and all this snow, and they're eating at these interesting restaurants and whatnot. But he's a real good community citizen. We go there a lot. That's where I do my business, where I do my networking stuff, whatnot. So, Our Place Restaurant. Do you ever go there?
I have been there, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Are you one of these people that are very picky about what you eat?
I am.
Selective, Brad.
Selective.
Yes,
Selective.
yes, yes.
Well, he has things. He has a menu for those that
He does.
That don't want to pound heavy calories, and then he has stuff for the rest of us, as normal human beings, I guess. But I like the chicken fried steak, so there you are. And so thank you, Otto. Have a good time. Be safe. Also, Wild Cigar and Culture over at the Standard. Now you've been there 2, 3, 4 times. I know.
A few times.
Yeah, and do you smoke cigars, Don, Lisa?
I do not.
Well, you never know. I would not doubt one day you walk in and see Michelle, the big old stogie, but
I prefer the smaller ones.
smaller ones,
Small and
okay.
spicy.
Oh, yeah, well, it looks more classy that way.
Right.
Tastes
that
better,
way,
too.
that way you don't look like some sort of mobster's woman. But anyway, it's open, has a great bar, has a great humidor. So even if you don't, you probably know somebody that does like those things. And
I'll refer him there.
yeah, absolutely. Because if you got like a novice cigar smoker, you got tobacconists can help you out. And I mean, you walk in that humidor and it's like, is it even possible to have this many brands of cigars? But
It is fascinating.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and it's like, well, I would like this kind of smoking experience. And so, well, here you go. And there's all these cigars. There you go. All right. Anyway, back to the things. Tiffany Nico up in the Standard. she's got the magazine coming out. Well, I bet it comes out this week. It's almost always the first week of the month, and Wednesday's February 1st. So I'll be expecting it this week. It's a great place to advertise. 30,000 homes get it. 110 to 120,000 people see it. I see it in sometimes I see it in stores. I know Otto has a little counter space for her and all this, and so it's a good place to advertise. I'd like to get her on the show, but she's so cotton-picked busy. She comes on about once a quarter, and we talk about Burleson business. And your business is in Burleson,
It
right?
is in Burleson.
Okay, good. All right. Also, thank you to Southern Gym. Everybody loves Southern Gym. I mean, it's become a go-to jewelry place, not just for Burleson, but for this area. They get customers from Granbury and Cleburne and Hillsboro and everybody else. My wife works here part-time, too, so I'm really pretty partial to it. But Southern Gym on the top of the Windmiller Building is going to be at the bottom of the Windmiller Building in about 5 weeks, hopefully, right next to American Revelry. So next time you need some jewelry repaired or you want some new inventory, take your significant other there and say, that's it.
That's what I want.
That's what worked for Robin. She basically said, you will be getting this for me for Christmas. Oh, well, that's one less thing to think about. So, okay. Also, thank you to Michelle. She's going to talk about all her business with Hotworks, how it's been taken off, how it's sweeping the nation, or at least sweeping Burleson.
It is the nation.
Yeah, it is. Well,
We just signed in Dubai.
really?
Internationally.
Wait. Dubai with 120 degrees, they need infrared workouts. I figured they just walk outdoors and they're getting one.
If it were that easy.
No, okay. Well, anyway, good for y'all. But you'll talk about what's going on here in Burleson over on 731. I think it's really interesting that you're right beside Chicken Salad Chick, because then go there and load up on their carbs, and then they come with you and work the carbs off, right? Is that how is this a plan that y'all worked out together?
It is not, but
okay.
it's a wonderful partnership.
Okay. Well, my wife likes that place like a lot of people do. So there you are, Heartworks. We'll hear all about that soon. Also, Michelle doggone it. I was looking at you, thinking of Melissa. Melissa Harmon, 682-804-0534, our Texas Farm Bureau agent. She helped me save some money. Maybe she'll help you save some money. She'll look over your insurance and find out what's going on. Maybe she can help you. If she can't, she'll tell you. But so it's 682-804-0534. Also, we got a couple of things going on in the community that y'all need to be aware of. One is a coat drive at Trinity Chiropractic. I bet y'all get the same customers there too. Chiropractic work.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, you bring a slightly used coat and you'll get a free x-ray examination, adjustment if you need it. Maybe if you need more than that, you can work out some sort of treatment plan, whatnot. So just bring by a coat. It's over off of Summercrest and Allsbury. And I've met with the doctor a couple times now, and he's very interested in being part of the community. So the coat drive is going on. Also, we have another drive going on with Harvest House. They're trying to get their refrigerator paid for. They need, for the next 3 weeks, they're going to have a fundraiser for the freezer and refrigerator unit that they're putting in to their location. And so what that means with Harvest House, this is not the retail shop, by the way. This is the old traditional spot on Thomas and Renfro. It allows people to go in there and select their groceries, as opposed to you come in and they give you a bag, which has been traditionally the way that things happen. But now they're going to be in a situation. Where maybe they can do some good, I guess, by letting them do their own shopping. There's a lot of dignity in that, So, as I now mess with the computer stuff here and try to get everything all loaded up, tell us about your business, Lisa.
Okay. So I'll go back to your Trinity Chiropractic. We're right around the corner, right in the same parking lot.
Oh, so right
across from Papa Murphy's drive-through.
Okay, well that's handy,
right
isn't it?
there, yeah.
No, so that really
we
is.
do see a lot of his clients as well.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that. Well, that's great.
So just give you a point of reference. there.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
So, because that would be the next question I would ask is where y'all at, because it's important to know that. So
exactly.
So tell us about your business, and just, you have to educate at least me and most of my listeners as to what you do.
Sure. So C3 Cryo Club started in 2014. We started with just 2 modalities. We started with the whole body cryotherapy and Normatec compression, both very good for muscle recovery, any inflammation, pain. It's really good for just about everybody, really. So we started with those. We've slowly added different services. We do a cryotherapy that's a local cryotherapy. So if somebody has a injury, let's say their knee is really bothering them. So we can use the cold just in that area. It's kind of like a ice pack on steroids in a way. The effects last a lot longer. And then we've added added an infrared sauna, which is really nice to add. I love Michelle's concept over at Hotworks to work out in the heat. In the infrared is wonderful, but there's some people who just don't want to do that. They just want to sit in a sauna. So they'll come and sit in our sauna. Some people will do that, and then they'll get out and do the cryotherapy. So kind of that ice plunge heat back and forth that
Ice plunge. It sounds painful.
Yeah. Well, we don't do the ice plunge, but it's because ours is there's no water. It's just cold air. Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just cold air. You just stand in there and let the cold air circulate around you. You're going to wear socks, gloves, slippers, underwear. That's about all you're going to wear in there. But the skin exposure, the more skin exposure you have, the more it's going to do for your body. Whole body cryotherapy is a systemic response. It works on the blood. So it's going to oxygenate all the red blood cells. It pulls all the blood from the extremities into the core to keep your organs and your core nice and warm. Just be like if you were out in Alaska somewhere and you're naked and your body was like, it goes in that fight or flight mode. That's what it does in there for just 3 minutes, 2 to 3. Doesn't even have to be.
So this treatment really isn't that long at all.
No.
Okay, I thought I had this idea that it's like you'd be in there for 30 minutes.
Oh, no. Gosh, no.
Okay, so it's
three max.
Well, that shows you.
When that temperature hits negative 166 degrees Fahrenheit is when that really starts to work on the blood. And you can tell because some people get in there and be like, oh, this isn't too bad. And then as soon as it hits that temperature, like, oh, it's getting a little cold. So so long as it's negative 166 or below for a minute to a minute and a half, it's really doing all it needs to do on the blood. It's oxygenating the red blood cells, providing nutrients and enzymes to those blood cells. So when you get out of the chamber and those blood vessels open back up, they dilate again. They'll constrict in the cold, open up and dilate. When you get out, all that oxygenated red blood cells will circulate all through the body and decrease inflammation wherever you have inflammation.
Now, yours does similar though, right? It decreases inflammation?
Yes, but in a completely similar and different way. And I think it's important. So you hear a lot of us talk about decreasing inflammation, and we don't want to say that you ever want to have so you don't want inflammation homeostasis of 0, right? Inflammation actually serves a purpose in the body. It's when you have excess inflammation. That's when you need to decrease inflammation. So just so everybody understands that inflammation in and of itself doesn't equal bad. It's like anything else. When you have too much of something, then it does become a problem. Inflammation is the cornerstone of disease. So without excess inflammation, you don't have a disease state. But you always need inflammation. That's your body's response to help itself do what it needs to do.
But in our previous discussions and other times outside the studio, you talked about how inflammation could be a real issue for a lot of people, and a lot of people may not even know they have it, and that's even a worse problem.
As Westerners, we almost unless you are doing something actively to decrease it, you're inflamed. I mean, there just really is no other way around it because our diet alone is so inflammatory.
Are you really particular about your diet, I guess?
I am.
Okay, good for you.
Yes.
I know she is. I know one time we met and she felt guilty because she had a piece of bacon or something like that.
No, I never feel guilty about what I eat. I just don't eat it often. And that's something else we can talk about today is that we are selective in what we eat. It doesn't mean that we're perfect all the time, and it doesn't mean that we don't like certain things. It just means
have them.
We've just decided that in the grand scheme, I had ice cream not too long ago.
Oh, well, we'll still talk to you.
Right? Okay. What people don't realize is when I have ice cream, I feel horrible.
You pay for it.
I pay for it. And every once in a while, I have to have it to remember why it is that I don't eat it because so it's not like, oh, ice cream's bad. It just, I pay for that ice cream. My body doesn't do well with ice cream. So some of us become selective because we need to feel better. Some of us become selective because we recognize people around us have responses that we probably don't have the same response, but we recognize that it's doing something that we don't ultimately want it to do long term. So there are modifications, and that's the beauty of being in Burleson and having these choices. So maybe you're not a heat person. Like the idea of working out in 125 degrees is the worst thing in the world for you. I will be the first to admit, and Lisa knows this, and I send people to her all the time. I do not like cryotherapy because I don't like cold. It's amazing.
Well, you picked the wrong day for that, didn't
I
you?
know, this is not my day.
Right.
So when I say I'm going to cryo, it means that I am at a point that I have to overcome not liking how it makes me feel because it does so much good for my body. And the beauty of cryo is only 3 minutes.
Right.
So I can do it when I need to do it. There are people that love it. Like they do it all the time preemptively. Like they're doing it because they enjoy it. They know there's benefit to their body. And so they are doing it kind of as just that preventative measure. They probably are doing something very active in their lifestyle, or they have something within their makeup that helps them do that. So that's never going to be me. That doesn't mean that it isn't good for you. It's amazing for you. It's just I'm not wired that way. Cold is not my scene. Give me a rock in the sun and I'm a happy lizard. So I'm in the right place, right? And that, I think it's so beneficial to the citizens of Burleson and the surrounding area that you have access to both of these things easily and affordably.
So, Lisa, when people come to your clinic, or your I guess we call it a clinic, what are they looking for? I mean, there's a reason what compels them to come there. So, what are they asking for you to do for them?
Most of the people that walk in, we do have a lot of athletes. So a lot of moms will bring their students in there for either injuries or muscle recovery. Most other people will come in because they have hit a wall of, I don't know what else to do and I need something to help. Most of the time, the underlying cause is that too much inflammation.
Does it help with like rheumatism or arthritis?
It does. It was actually developed for rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay. And so people come in there, they go through this treatment, and I'm sure there's various kinds of treatment that you can apply to it. It's not just one size fits all. But what should they expect after a treatment?
So depending on how much inflammation, the nature of the injury, people will see a difference. Some people will walk out of that chamber and be like, oh my gosh, my knee feels so much better.
I was going to ask you that because my knees are sore, but I'm 60 plus years old. You know, and would I be your typical client, or am I older than most?
No, we have such a variety.
Okay.
We have 8-year-old to
So I come in, my knees hurt or my feet hurt because I'm an old man and, you know, probably could stand to lose 15 pounds or whatever.
Sure.
But that takes sacrifice. Being cold for 3 minutes might shorten that sacrifice.
Correct.
But, you know, so let's say I come in for my sore knees. It's not like I'll come in 3 minutes, boom, I'm good to go for, forever.
Correct.
I mean, how long would it last?
The effects of a cryotherapy session, they say about 6 to 8 hours. Some people will notice it longer, but the closer you do the sessions together, the more results you're going to see.
Is that right? So you have being 3 minutes, you could probably do this on a fairly routine basis.
The recommendation, depending on how your symptoms are when you come in, is going to be 20 to 30 sessions within a month.
What if I don't know what's wrong with me? I mean, I've had plenty of people that'll be glad to tell me that, but I'd need to know.
Well, we don't diagnose, so
Okay.
you just tell us your symptoms, and we tell you what our recommendation would be on what treatment to do.
And yours is similar to that, right? But you're going like in the other direction, Michelle. Is that if I come in there and say, "Man, my knees hurt," you'll say, "Well, first get off your butt," more often because she's very active. But she also would.
I would recommend that too.
Yeah, right. But
so let's talk about how Lisa and I can support the same person.
Sure. I'm just going to sit back and let y'all talk about that.
So, but we're going to use you as that example.
Why
so
not?
feel free to jump in and defend yourself, Brad. So Brad walks into HotWorks. He's heard a lot about infrared. He is curious as to whether or not it might help him to be able to move a little bit better and be able to feel a little better all the way around. He knows inherently he needs to move more to feel better, but honestly, it hurts to move.
Sure.
And so it's that catch-22, right? And so in having that conversation with Brad, what I discover is his mobility is very limited, especially when it comes to getting up and down off of a floor unassisted. That becomes problematic for someone at HotWorks because we were literally designed to be done workout-wise in a sauna. So there are no places to sit in our saunas other than a piece of exercise equipment or on the floor on your mat and towel. Now, if you have the mobility to start on our HIT side with the equipment, provided that there aren't some extenuating health circumstances that would not be beneficial, we could go ahead and get you started over there. But I have plenty of people that they're not even there yet. So that's when I'm making a referral to Lisa, because Lisa has two things for them that are going to start them on a journey ultimately to hopefully coming back around to me. And first of all, if they're like me and they want the heat, they don't want the cold,
Yep.
she has a sauna that they can go and sit in. And so infrared was actually designed to be sat in initially. HotWorks took the concept of sitting in an infrared sauna, took the seats out and said, now we're going to move in an infrared sauna. So that's what makes HotWorks unique within the infrared world. So Lisa's infrared sauna is very traditional. It does everything that a HotWorks sauna does. You just don't work out while you're there. You're just sitting there. So for someone who's looking to get more mobility and range of motion, that is a great place to start because you don't have the mobility and range of motion that you need to actually utilize us in a beneficial manner. So we're going to send them to Lisa, and then Lisa's going to talk to them about, you might find that you get some benefit by doing a combination treatment. Or they may be hard-headed and only, can't imagine, Brad, they might be hard-headed and only want to do the heat. They may not know anything about the cold therapy, and so they may find that they really enjoy the cold therapy and that they get excellent benefit by doing a combination of the two. So she's actually going to help them get to a point where they can come back now and start visiting with me again because their range of motion and their ability to move have become better. They're starting to feel better. They now can move their legs in a manner that they could get up on that piece of equipment to start working towards going to the other side of the studio where it's exclusively a mat to stand workout. So that's where we actually support each other quite well. Then I have members that get hurt, not because they were doing HotWorks, but because inherently life is dangerous, right? And so you step off the curb wrong, and so they're not really able to work out just right. And what they actually need at that moment in time is cold therapy. So they're going over to Lisa. And then we have crossover people that they just happen to love both, and so they utilize both at a regular time.
Can you do your treatments on the same day, or is that recommended?
Well, I'm not a treatment. I'm a workout.
Well, okay, you work out.
Yes.
You're, okay.
But yes,
I'm sorry.
You can do both, or you can do treatments. You can do both. I just want to make that like we're not a infrared can be used for treatment, and people do get benefit from infrared and working out, but we're not considered a treatment option per se. We do have people sent to us because their physicians have recommended it. So we're only a treatment in that you've been told you need to get more movement, and this is a non-impact way to get more movement and see great results.
Which one should I do first, yours and then hers, or hers and then yours?
It depends on why you're doing it. If you're doing it from a workout standpoint, I'm going to say do Cryo first and then come do HotWorks. If you're doing it for a therapy purpose, you might want to flip it, honestly.
So really, there's no standard. It just depends on the person involved and what they need and what their situation is.
And the reason that I say that is with us, we track that afterburn for that hour post-workout. So you don't want to take that afterburn away by going and putting yourself in a cryo chamber immediately after your workout. You've lost a little bit of the benefit of that workout that you did. That's part of what makes HotWorks such a time-efficient workout is you work out in half the time, but because we heated you at the muscle level, that muscle remains very metabolically active because of that heat for a far longer time. So you don't want to cool that muscle off too soon. You want to get the full benefit of that. So you could certainly HotWorks and then go cryo, but you would want a period of time in between that.
Wow. I mean, and I'm sure we get people in this community that do that. They take this stuff very seriously, and so they do that. I didn't know is it better to cool down the hot muscles or warm up the cold muscles? I get
Well, and
confused.
one thing I'd like to add to that too is what we have found. So the after effects of the cryotherapy, 6 to 8 hours. So if you go into a sauna right after, you're kind of you shorten that time.
Right. So it's that you've just got to
You got to figure out.
why are you doing it.
Yeah.
There's no like.
So
this
we
is how you
recommend
do it.
if you come to our just to come and sit in the sauna, we recommend sauna first,
And then cryo.
then cryo after. But cryotherapy also does make you more flexible, gives you more energy. So it is beneficial to do it before a workout as well. So it just kind of depends
Whatever
what
you
you're looking
prefer.
for.
Then,
Yeah,
so it's not
right.
like
yeah. There's not a right or wrong.
right. Good.
Yeah.
How long have you been in this business?
Since 2014, so a little over 8 years.
Not really here in Burleson.
Mhm.
How did you get involved in the first place?
That's a great question.
Okay, that's why you're here
So,
for.
yes, I love this story. So my mom was a cancer survivor, and she was having pain from radiation, hip pain, things like that. And somebody recommended cryotherapy for her pain. And so she said, she hated the cold. She was little bitty, hated it. But she went, and the effects were so great for her. Her decreased pain. She's like, Lisa, you got to go. You got to experience this. And so we went. We ended up opening. There was a place here in Burleson, and she gave her blessing for us to open a studio. So we did, and I truly. My mom passed a year ago.
Sorry.
So I lost my business partner. It's been a hard year, but I saw such great things that it did for her. 10 years cancer free. Well,
I know
so.
Michelle has an education in this from her college days. Did you have to go through any kind of education or training or
I'm a
specialties?
nurse by trade,
Okay.
so I do have medical background.
Okay.
And then we did a cryotherapy. There's a training that we that we went through when we opened.
But
so.
but you are a registered nurse. Yeah. So is my mother, but she's long retired, of course. But it just so it isn't like, oh, I was looking for something to do. I mean, it sounds like this is something that you've always health anyways. Something you always had interest in.
Yeah. I was a school nurse for a long time.
Really, which school system?
Crowley.
Really?
Yeah. My kids all went to Crowley. I was there for probably 7 or 8 years, and I just kept seeing these kids come in with these issues of ADD and medication and asthma, and I'm like, there's got to be something more to all of this than just medication. So that sent me down a health and wellness journey that's led me to where I am today.
So would either one of y'all's regimens, would they help with these kind of things, ADD, asthma, whatnot? I mean, I know you're not a doctor and you can't prescribe it, but do patients come looking for y'all's businesses to help with those things?
Anytime you decrease inflammation,
Okay.
you're going to see a benefit within the body. We have no way of knowing what created that symptomology to begin with. So it's hard for us to say, yes, it absolutely will, or no, it will not. Movement is almost always beneficial to anything because it creates a positive energy. It creates endorphins. The body actually has to move in order to produce energy. That's what people don't realize. So I don't think Lisa nor I are ever going to say we're too much of a professional to say, oh, yeah, we're going to help your ADHD.
Right.
Is it probable? Yes, it could. It absolutely could. It's certainly not going to harm it.
Right.
It's probably more likely what you're going to hear us say.
Couldn't hurt, like chicken soup, I guess.
Well, and again, we're really adamant about our guest policy. And as I explain to people, it's not, we want you to bring people in. We're a small business. It's the lifeblood of our business, as is Lisa. But there are things that don't align well with infrared workouts. And so we want to ensure that that guest you're bringing in is getting a safe and effective workout. If you've just had a stroke, we're not going to be the place for you. So there are those things that, while it is good for a large population base, no one thing is good for everyone. And so we have to do our due diligence as well. It's part of why we are successful at what we do, is we recognize that we have to take the time and we have to do things right in order to make this a beneficial experience for those that we are serving.
Y'all have referred patients from chiropractic organizations, doctors' clinics, any other kind of health professionals, they send them y'all's way?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. Physical therapy.
Yeah, orthopedics and all the rest. Well, I would imagine so, but I just wonder if there's like, in the medical community, if there's some sort of support for what y'all do. Yeah, okay, you're nodding your head.
It's hit or miss. It's like anything else. I mean, and I think that's the thing that we have to remember about physicians. My brother's a physician. My sister-in-law is a physician. They know an area really well, but they can't know all things either.
Right.
And so we have to realize that a physician's purpose is whatever their area of expertise is. And they may or may not know a lot about things, and many of them do, but that's not their area. So they may tell you, and I do get this referral a lot. I have people sent to me all the time that they're told they need to do yoga. And that's not untrue. They do need to do yoga. Everyone should actually have some form of yoga practice in their life. But yoga may not be where they need to start because they may not have the core strength and stability to be able to maintain yoga poses safely or effectively for any length of time when they first come to us. So that's one thing I think that HotWorks does uniquely well is we do have that session that's just called core. And so you can start working on your core. But even better than that, we have that HIIT session called Blast. That is a total body elliptical. There's no impact in anything that we do. And by nature of how you move upper and lower body together, you are building core stability without even thinking about it.
But Taylor is one of your clients.
Yes.
And he's done Blast, I know. What else do you do, Taylor?
I like the blast and the rowing.
And the rowing, okay. And it works for you. Absolutely.
I've done the yoga one once, and it was.
I don't know if I have the balance for that.
Okay, so again, that's what we have to figure out is, yes, do you need yoga? Yes, you need yoga, but do you need yoga now or do you need to get to yoga? It's the same scenario as we presented before with the person that doesn't have enough range of motion and flexibility to get onto a piece of equipment. They need to see Lisa before they come back to us. And even when they come back to us, we're going to put them on Blast before we put them in core. And we're going to put them in core before we want to see them go to yoga because we're building a foundation of ability. And our goal is to make you feel successful from day one.
It sounds like both of y'all can map out kind of a plan or a program as opposed to just showing up. I mean,
For sure.
Yeah, it's like with the CrossFit. You just don't go out there and start flinging an iron. You'll hurt yourself.
Right.
So they have supervision and training, and same with y'all. So I'm a first-time customer for you, Lisa. I walk in and I say, I don't even know what I want. I just want to feel better. My knees hurt. My feet hurt. I have a bad attitude. So, y'all sit down and say, okay, here's a plan for you and how often. And I'm sure you have membership plans that fit that. Are you, by the way, are you also 24/7 by any chance?
No.
She is, I know, but,
No.
you go in there at 3 a.m, with the codes and all that.
No, we don't freeze people all day. All day and all night now.
Well, you don't, but also on that score, if you're an experienced HotWorks client, you don't really need a lot of supervision, right?
No.
They have a pre-programmed set and they know what to do. But in your case, it isn't like, I'm just going to walk in and step into a booth. I mean,
correct. There's always a technician in there with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there's always going to be supervision just in case, you overdo it or something like that. That would be a problem, I'd imagine.
Yes. Yes. We set the time. You can't, there's no longer than 3 minutes. I will say if you don't follow directions and breathe too much of the nitrogen in, you will pass out. So someone's got to be in there with you the whole time. So
so you have a technician there freezing along with you, huh?
well we're not in there with you. We stand outside the chamber.
Okay, good. I was thinking, wow, what a job.
No.
Come with your gloves and your hat.
No,
but
I don't need to see all that in people.
But they do a good job of distracting you during that 3 minutes. So you're not quite so focused on just how cold it is.
Yes.
How cold is it?
Negative 240, 250 degrees by the time you're done. Yeah.
That's almost like today,
Well,
but a negative 240 degrees. Some people hear that and they go, my stars, how do you not instantly freeze to death? But you don't.
No. That's that whole fight or flight mode in your body.
So basically what you're doing is you're helping the body heal itself by putting it under stress of some sort.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes more sense to me now. So you walk in.
Okay, so listening audience, what's
sorry.
the term for that? What's the term for putting your body under stress to get benefit and make it stronger?
Exercise. These people in my life, they're, serious about their health and conditioning, drive me nuts. But anyway.
You sound like a great client for both of us.
Oh,
I think
I
you
would
need to
be.
come on down. We'll start you over here. We'll end you up over there.
I'll do a free remote session of you doing
with Brad and
me?
Brad.
Oh, yeah.
podcast.
It would be
Allard's
perfect because
Neighborhood.
it's just his head popping
the
out of the
sun.
cylinder.
Yeah,
Well,
there you go. Yeah.
A friend of the show here, Jessica Valley Reams, says it is cold, but it is so good for you. You know
It is,
Jessica?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Jessica Reams.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
hey, Jessica.
She's watching, and it is cold, but it's so good for you. Well, they say that about beer too, Jessica, but I don't want to see that.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Well, anyway, so again, I guess the part about how this actually works, I must have been messing around trying to get this, Facebook thing to work. You walk in, you strip down to, do you have like a I don't know, a robe of some sort or whatever else?
You're just in the room with the chamber.
So I could do it in my clothes?
No.
Yeah.
We close the door. You take off your clothes. You put on socks and gloves.
Socks and gloves.
Socks, gloves, slippers.
so
Leave your
you-
underwear on. Please leave your underwear
Yes,
on.
I was thinking you're going to be there as, God made you. Are you going to have at least
Yes,
some sort of
no.
modesty here?
And then you get in that chamber, and there's a
Uh-huh.
doorbell. You ring the doorbell, and we come in and make sure you're positioned in the right position, and then we start your session, talk to you, and that's it.
So you just sit there and talk about the Cowboys or something like that
Whatever
while
you want to talk
Yeah,
about.
was it-
Whatever takes your mind off of the process.
I don't know. It sounds tough, but apparently it works. I mean,
Yes, yeah.
have you noticed an increase in clientele or as this becomes more known? Because
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you 10, 15 years ago, particularly guys of my generation, I don't know how well known it was. Now
Right,
it
no,
sounds more well known.
It is, yeah, for sure. When we first opened, it was even less known about.
Mhm.
But I want to say, is the basketball team the Mavericks?
Mavericks.
Okay,
yeah.
I think that. Sorry, I have 4 boys and they all play ball, but I forget which sports and what.
You're
what
like
all
my
that
wife.
stuff. I
Basketball's-
watch them all, but I don't know all the names. but-
Robin, the basketball's the orange one. Baseball is the smaller white
yeah,
one.
yeah,
So-
exactly. But they had just won whatever championship they win, and they were talking about their use of cryotherapy. So it kind of became real popular at that time in the athletic world, and then it's just kind of grown into not only for athletes but for everybody and for any age.
Well, I do know the Cowboys do it. They were talking
Mm-hmm.
about that on some sports talk show I listened to a while back, and they talk about it. The sports treatments are much more, not just sophisticated, but much more available. I mean,
Yes.
it's not as space age as it used to be for a lot of people. It's only for serious athletes. Now it's available to anybody.
Anybody,
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I guess the technology has grown. Jessica also says you ought to do it because she's a very big fan apparently of your business.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so, yeah, and so this is one of those treatments that you could do for like, I don't know, indefinitely, right?
Oh, for sure.
There's no end date. There's no end date with
No.
HotWorks
No,
either.
correct.
It's like
Yeah, it's like I'm solved, I'm cured, I'm good
Right.
to go.
you can't get too much infrared.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You can't get too much cryotherapy. You can get too long of a cryotherapy, and you
Mhm.
can get too much hot works. There's a difference. So infrared, your body, there's no limit to what you can absorb infrared wise and it become harmful. Where I say you can get too much hot works is if you're doing a lot and you're not adequately hydrating. The other thing that people have to realize is, yes, we are active muscle recovery, but we're exertion at the same time, and a body needs time to rest. And so no matter how good it makes you feel, and hot works is that thing, and cryo for some people, not for me, but for some people is the same way. It makes you feel so good. You want to do more of it more frequently because you really enjoy the way it makes you feel. But there is a time where you have to give your body true rest. No matter how good something is for you, you have to take a rest from it as well. Now, obviously, cryo not quite the same as what I'm saying by you can get too much hot works. But I have people say, can I do this 7 days a week? Can you? Sure. Should you? No. So it is that thing. I do have a lot of members that have rheumatoid arthritis, and they do come in and do something in the sauna probably 6 days a week because it does really help with the inflammation. And that's okay because some of those are more about just being in the sauna and getting some good, gentle movement in versus an actual workout.
How did y'all two meet? Are y'all old friends, or y'all met through this industry?
We met through this industry.
Okay.
I think we met through HotWorks in some form or fashion, and don't really remember what the catalyst was for meeting.
I think my son actually.
That's what it was.
He started over there, and he's like, "Mom, you got to come over here and try this." And I'll be honest. When she first came into town, I was like, I have a yoga studio there, and I was like, "Is this?" Not that I would support any business, but I'm like, "Are we competition? Or are we, what's going on?" So I went to check it out, and we're definitely different. It's definitely
very
different.
You seem complimentary more than competition.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like that is the essence of Cryo and HotWorks in and of itself. Is it is a complementary service to anything that you are doing. CrossFitters, we're both complementary to. Camp Gladiator, we're both complementary to. Are you an extreme cyclist? We're both complementary to you.
Right.
Do I stand on my own as a workout? Absolutely. But I'm complementary, not competitive with other modalities of working out.
I work out at Orange Theory, which is right around the corner from you, but then I supplement in the HotWorks.
Amber Tollison says it's 100% complimentary.
Yep.
Do y'all, I guess, y'all know Amber.
Yes.
She's a faithful
She's a shared.
Yeah. Okay. But you mentioned you had a yoga studio as well, or is it connected to Cryo, or is it separate?
It's separate.
All right.
I mean, it's in the same building.
Right, but it's not like they're both the same thing. You have yoga clients and you have Cryo clients, right?
A lot of crossover.
Okay. She has memberships. Do you do it on a membership basis as well?
We do membership and packages.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, so if somebody wants to come in, they could try it out for like a 1 or 2 time opportunity. You have any? Well, basically, what I'm asking is, what
are our
it?
packages look like?
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Just say it.
All right. I'm trying to be nice, but tell us about the packages.
Okay. So our packages, we recommend our 2 for $49 is our first cryotherapy package. So it's nice to at least get 2 under your belt to kind of see. Everyone will say, "I want to see how I feel," but you really need more than one to see how you feel. And then we have our best bang for the buck. Coming 3 to 4 times a week is going to be our cryotherapy membership package. It's an auto draft of $249. You can come every day and do sauna, Normatec, cryotherapy, all those services.
Talk about the Normatec again real fast.
Yeah, so the Normatec, I didn't touch on that. It's a compression. It's not cold, it's not hot, it's room temperature. We have sleeves for the legs, the hips, and the arms, and it just kind of squeezes and releases and helps to help circulation. And helps muscle recovery, and it feels amazing.
Really?
It's really good.
My dad had a knee replacement, and it did not go well, and he will not get in a sauna. So Normatec would be something for him that would actually be. It's very passive in that you lay there. You don't. You don't have to do anything. You lay there, and the machine does the work for you.
People take naps in our recliners in the Normatec.
For people that are struggling with circulation issues, that is an amazing option. And so it's the one thing that I hope that people take away from this is you have a lot of options within Burleson. It's so impressive to me what Burleson can bring to the table in the surrounding areas.
Yes.
And you also have people that are very passionate about what they do. They do it because they believe in it. It's nice that we can earn a living doing what we're passionate about, but at the end of the day, we would do this in some form or fashion.
Well, I could tell. I've known you long enough to know this is not just a vocation, but an avocation. It's a calling. It's a mission field, or whatever you want to call it. It's something y'all truly believe in. Sounds like you got a pretty big operation over there. You can do the Normatec, you can do the yoga, you can do the cryo. You got a whole thing going on over there.
We do. We're getting ready to add IV therapy to our services.
Really?
Within the next couple months.
What does that mean?
So the IV therapy is going to be. I don't know if you've heard of people will go get IV infusions for if they're not feeling well, if they
anemia. I know my wife had anemia for a while, and she got IV infusions, and now it's
like little cocktails of vitamins and minerals, things to boost your energy, things like that, B12, things like that.
Wow.
We don't have all the cocktails figured out yet, so don't quote me on all of that, but it is coming in the next couple of months. So I know people look for that. So.
Well, between the two of y'all, you're creating this health awareness dynasty here in Burleson.
Absolutely, I love it, right?
It's like going to take over. This is going to be not only have the cleanest cars in town with all the new car washes, but also the fittest in town.
There you go.
You know?
There you go.
Well, that is not really far off of a goal of mine personally.
Yeah.
Fort Worth hired the Blue Zones guy to come in and make the city of Fort Worth a blue zone. I think we can make Burleson a blue zone.
What does that
Absolutely.
mean?
So blue zones are 5 areas in the world that have significant numbers of healthy octogenarians, which means people over the age of 100.
Well, we got those here in Burleson.
We do, but
They're all on the road too often.
those 5 areas are Okinawa, Japan, Sardonia. I'm going to draw a complete blank. The Nico Coast in Costa Rica, Loma Linda, California, and I can never remember the 5th one because it's not too far from Sardonia, but I don't remember what it is. So somebody out there that knows, please tell me. But they're all vastly different. There's no commonality amongst them other than all of those communities create a sense of purpose regardless of age. So that person that's 103 has a role to play every day that is beneficial and useful to both the community and that individual. They all have very local diets, meaning that they don't bring their food in from other locations. They eat locally because these are small places. Most of them are more plant-based than meat-based, but many of them do eat meat. It's just not their predominant every day. Loma Linda, California is so fascinating because it's a Seventh-day Adventist community, and they are vegetarian by, I guess, religion.
Religion, I think, yeah.
Yes, and so they eat a lot of nuts and a lot of seeds, and so they're a very interesting study. And so these blue zones have been studied, and the biggest plug-in I think is that sense of purpose, that sense of need, that sense of use. And that's very important. I'm not as well versed in how Loma Linda creates that as the other areas of the world do. And is it Sardonia or the other place that I can never remember the name of it? They're sheep herders. And so they have very hard lives, but the women support the home and the men go and do the sheep herding. The women don't live as long as the men because their stress is greater for worrying about the men being out doing what they do. That was a very interesting study. But the fact of the matter is Fort Worth is on a purpose to become a blue zone. And I think that we can make Burleson darker blue than Fort Worth.
There we go.
Well, see, you got to be careful when you say blue zone in Burleson because they'll say Democrats.
No.
Totally different blue.
Yeah.
Totally different blue.
These Democrats are taking over. No, it's not politics, guys.
No.
Well, we're getting close to the end. I'd like for y'all to have the last word, and since she pays, she gets the last word. But
That's fine.
But tell us everything you want Burleson to know about your business.
I think I've told them quite a bit.
Well,
but
summarize.
I
A lot of
think-
people just will say, I'll just skip to the end. I'm tired of listening to Allard talk.
wow.
So they'll fast
Well,
forward to the end of the show.
I think that anyone that's in Burleson should come and visit me. That's what I really think.
But it's also, it's at Spring Creek, not Spring
It's
Creek,
the corner of
Summercrest.
Summercrest and Alsbury, right across from the Papa Murphy's. It's in that parking lot there next to the nail salon.
Summercrest and Osborne, near the chiropractic clinic. So,
next
so
to
bring a coat to Dr. Dias and come
on over.
After
Take
he
your
works
coat off
over.
and get in the chiropractic.
Yeah, you go.
We do have a lot of things that can help a lot of people, and like Michelle said, it's not just one. If you don't like the cold, we got the heat. If there's lots of things there. We do try to focus on total wellness, not just one thing. So if somebody's having an issue with what they need to eat, we give a little. Not that we're not. I'm not a registered dietitian, but I do know a lot about nutrition. So there's some tips I might be able to. But we really try to and just love on people. We love people. We love to hear your story, and we love to try to help people. So.
Okay, Michelle, it's your turn.
So HotWorks is a 24/7 infrared fitness studio. We offer 11 different workouts in 7 different saunas, and all of those workouts are non-impact. They're also very short. We have 15-minute HIIT workouts and 30-minute what we call isometric workouts. So if you're looking for a really big return on your investment of time, energy, and money, HotWorks is something that you definitely want to check out. But it's like anything else. It needs to be the right fit for you. And we're there to help ensure that if it is the right fit for you, that you're going to get the greatest results in doing that. If you'll follow me on Facebook and Instagram, we're going to start talking about how you seed, plant, and maintain your garden. It's very similar to how you seed, plant, and maintain your fitness routine. And sometimes it's a little easier for people to look at it from a not exercise format. It's the same thing with your car. If you drive a sports car and you put cheap unleaded gas in it, it's going to give you cheap performance out.
I would know about the expensive car. So anyway, I appreciate y'all being here. I learned a lot. I mean, I had really very little idea what cryo was about. I knew it was some sort of treatment and whatnot, but I didn't know the impact it has and what that treatment, what form it took and whatnot. So both, y'all listening out there, spread this to people out there, share this with people that have maybe need for these kind of services. You're doing them a favor. Tomorrow, I'm switching around things. I
appreciate you letting me be on the show, by the way. Thanks for asking me. I didn't get to say that earlier. Thank you so much.
That's quite all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch up things. Since the weather may be bad tomorrow, I'm going to have Next Step on Thursday. So tomorrow I'm just going to be ranting and raving about something. I don't know. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.